Hi, coders. It's Miss Marie. How is everybody? Let's see. Who do we have here tonight? Okay, we have two different Cheryls. Hi to both you. Hi, Curly. Hi, Elaine. Hi, Haji. And Patricia and Tiffany. I think we have some more people joining us. Hey, Tiff. Hi, Elaine. I'm good, Miss Patricia. How are you? Yay. This is our radiology and anesthesia group study. And of course, I'm not here by myself. We have a great team tonight. Miss Josie, would you like to say hi to the coders?
Hi, coders. Happy Wednesday. We're going to have a great class. Miss Marie has some good, anesthesia scenarios put together for you, and we're going to have a great time. How's everybody doing tonight?
They're being kind of a little bit shy, but I think everybody's doing well. Oh, there they're coming in. We also have AMCI's very own rock star, Miss Melissa's here. Would you like to say hello?
Sure. Every time you say that, if you could see me, I blush like a rock star. Come on. Anyway, hi, coders. I'm excited to be with you tonight. And if you're like me, radiology and anesthesia is one of my favorite subjects in the CPT manual. So I think we'll have a fun time tonight.
I think we will. CPT is a copyright of 2019 from the American Medical Association, and all rights are reserved. Fee schedules, relative value units, conversion factors, and/or related components are not assigned by the AMA, are not part of CPT, and the AMA is not recommending their use. The AMA does not directly or indirectly practice medicine or dispense medical services. The AMA assumes no liability for data contained or not contained herein. CPC is a registered trademark of the AAPC. AAPC content found within this presentation is copyright of AAPC. Keyword concept, FTR, CHUN, AMCI Fab 7, Flip and Tap are all trademarks of AMCI. Here is your first scenario.
Okay, coders. We're going to start with the answers. A is P1, B, P2, C, P3, D, P4, and what physical status modifier best describes a patient who has a severe systemic disease that is a constant threat to life? And you may begin now. Okay, coders, it looks like everyone has their answers in, Miss Marie, and it looks like almost everyone got it right. Great job.
They were doing really well. I was just going to say, I don't know what the timer's set at, but I don't think you need any more time. As most of you realize, the answer here is D. Keywords are physical status modifier, patient, severe systemic disease, constant threat to life. This is a clip from page 61 in the 2019 book. Again, we're looking for severe systemic disease, constant threat to life. P1 is a normal healthy patient, so that doesn't match what we're looking for. P2 is mild systemic disease, definitely not what we're looking for. P3 is close, severe systemic disease, but again, not exactly what we're looking for. But P4 is a patient with severe systemic disease that's a constant threat to life. And that is exactly correct. We're going to be doing some calculations in a few minutes, and I know you guys have new books, so you may not have this chunned yet. So I'm just going to remind you of the base units for these physical status modifiers. 0 for P1, 0 for P2, 1 for P3, 2 for P4, 3 for P5, and 0 for P6. I'll give you a minute to jot that down. Not literally a minute, more like 20 seconds. Got it? Okay. I'm going to move on. Thanks for letting me know. Next question.
Okay. We'll start with the answers first. A is Swan-Ganz monitoring. B, administration of blood. C, blood pressure monitoring. D, mass spectrometry. Which service is not included with anesthesia services? And you have 2 minutes and 30 seconds on this one. You may not need it all, but you may begin now. Okay, coders. Looks like everyone just about has their answers in, and we're a little mix on this one, Miss Marie. We've got some B's, some D's, and some A's.
Okay. Thanks, Miss Josie. All right. This is exactly why I put this in here. When I'm looking at MMMs, I find that people have trouble with this, so I wanted to make sure we went over it. All right. The answer is A, Swan-Ganz monitoring. Okay. Our keywords: not included, anesthesia services. And you're thinking, how was I supposed to know this? Well, it's in your guidelines. Turn to page 60 in your 2019 book, please. It is, and Katina tells me, just a second, I think she said it was page 58 in the, if you haven't gotten your 2019 books yet. But right under the anesthesia guidelines header, left column, second paragraph, it tells us the reporting of anesthesia services is appropriate by and under the responsible supervision of a physician. These services may include, but are not limited to, general, regional, supplementation of local anesthesia, or other support services in order to afford the patient the anesthesia care deemed optimal by the anesthesiologist during any procedure. These services include the usual preoperative and postoperative visits, the anesthesia care during the procedure, the administration of fluids and or blood, so administration of blood is included, and the usual monitoring services, meaning ECG, temperature, blood pressure monitoring, oximetry, which is where they're checking the how much oxygen is in your blood, capnography, and mass spectrometry. Okay? Unusual forms of monitoring, for example, intra-arterial, central venous, and Swan-Ganz are not included. So if they tell you that they had to install a central venous catheter on a patient and they ask the anesthesiologist to do it, you can code that. I see some people weren't sure. So let me tell you, Swan-Ganz monitoring is something they do for very, very ill patients. It's also called a pulmonary artery catheterization. Basically, they put a really small tube into the usually right heart the right side of the heart, and it monitors the heart's function and blood flows and pressures. Okay? So, once again, the answer here is Swan-Ganz monitoring. Make sure that you have this chun so that that's easy information for you to find. All right? You might even, forget it. I'm not going to start that sentence. Do you have any questions, or is this all good? Y'all good? Okay. Cool beans. Moving on, guys. Oop, there's answer A. Sorry. All right, next scenario.
That was a good one, Miss Marie, and I think we had a lot of aha moments.
Thank you.
All right, here are your answers. We've got 7:14 a.m. to 8:18 a.m., which is 64 minutes. B is 7:14 a.m. to 8:29 a.m. That's 75 minutes. C is 7:26 a.m. to 8:18 a.m., 52 minutes. Or D, 7:26 a.m. to 8:29 a.m., 63 minutes. Anesthesia start time is reported as 7:14 a.m. and the surgery began as 7:26 a.m. The surgery finished at 8:18 a.m. and the patient was turned over to PACU at 8:29 a.m., which was reported as the ending anesthesia time. What is the anesthesia time reported? And you've got 2.5 minutes starting now. All right, coders, that's time, and you guys did excellent. Miss Marie, I think we had darn near 100% on this one.
I agree. I'm so glad. This is great. So I'm gonna. I believe it was 100%. So I'm gonna move pretty quickly. If I'm wrong and somebody has a question, just pop it into the chat for me, please. Okay, the answer here is B. The keywords: start time 7:14 a.m., surgery began at 7:26 a.m., finished at 8:18 a.m., turned over to PACU 8:29 a.m. Now this one was pretty simple because they told you when the start time is and when the ending time is. So again, the time reporting, which is on that same page, page 60, time for anesthesia procedures may be reported as is customary in the local area. Again, that's page 60. The time begins when the anesthesiologist begins to prepare the patient for induction of anesthesia in the operating room or equivalent area, and ends when the anesthesiologist is no longer in personal attendance, which is to say when the patient may be safely placed under post-operative supervision. So the start time here, 7:14 a.m. Since we can eliminate C because it said that it started at 7:26, and we can eliminate D for the same reason, wrong start time. The patient was turned over to the PACU and the anesthesiologist is no longer present at 8:29. So that is our ending time. That eliminates answer A. Okay, the reason, I don't know if excuse me, I'm sorry. The reason I set it up like this is because that's how I do the math. I just do it like a simple math problem. 829 minus 714 is an hour 15. 1 hour is 60 minutes, so that's, and then 15 minutes. And for me, that way I don't make the math errors and I don't mess up calculating the total amount of time. All right. So the answer is B, 7:14 a.m. to 8:29 a.m. for a total of 75 minutes. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah, I like to write stuff down so that I'm not trying to do the math in my head because I make mistakes if I'm not careful. All right. Okay, looks like we're in good shape. And we're going to move on. Here's your next scenario.
Okay, we're going to begin with the answers first. A is $800, B, $900, C, $1,000, and D, $1,200. Code 00940, anesthesia for vaginal procedures, has a base value of 3 units. The patient was admitted under emergency circumstances, qualifying circumstances code 99140, which allows for 2 extra base units. A pre-anesthesia assessment was performed and signed at 2 a.m. Anesthesia start time is reported as 2:21 a.m. and the surgery began at 2:28 a.m. The surgery finished at 3:25 a.m. and the patient was turned over to PACU at 3:36 a.m., which was reported as the ending anesthesia time. Using 15-minute increments and a conversion factor of $100, what is the correct anesthesia charge? And we're going to give you the 2 minutes and 30 seconds. You may begin now. Okay, coders, get your answers in. We're a little bit split on this one, Miss Marie, but for the most of it, they did well.
They did really well. There's a couple of bumps in the road. So I'm going to give another like 15 seconds for people to get answers in, and then we'll reveal the answer and start working through this equation. Okay, coders, you guys did really well on this. The answer here is C, $1,000. We had a couple we had a little bit of variations in the chat on what you guys thought the answer was, so we're going to walk through this. Here are your keywords. Okay, base value of 3 units, emergency circumstances, qualifying circumstance 99140, 2 extra base units, anesthesia start time 2:21 a.m., surgery began at 2:28, turned over to PACU at 3:36, which was the ending anesthesia time. Okay, the conversion factor is $100. So the way we do this is base plus time plus modifying factors times the conversion factor equals the dollar amount. Okay, and here our base value is 3. Our modifying factors, they tell us emergency circumstances, 2 base units, and then the conversion factor we know is $100. So what we need to do is figure out the time. So end time minus start time equals the total anesthesia time. They were turned over at 3:36 a.m., so that's the top line, and our minus 221, so we're going to write that down. If you do the math, it's 1 hour and 15 minutes. If we're using 15-minute time increments, how many units is that? Right, it's 5 units. There are 4 units per hour at 15 minutes a unit, which means we have 5 units total. So we add that in there. We do the math. 3 plus 5 is 8, plus 2 is 10. 10 times 100 equals 1,000. So our answer is C. Does that make sense to everybody? Does anybody have a question? This formula should be chunned in your book. There's room on the guidelines page on page 61. Or if you have a lot of notes, page 70 is a nice blank empty page for notes. Okay? Oh, thanks, Miss Patricia. This is how I write it out every single time. All right? Nobody has any questions. I'm going to move on to the next scenario.
Okay, here are your answers, coders. A is 00840, B is 00844, C is 00846, and D is 00851. What is the anesthesia code for a tubal ligation? And I've got 2.5 minutes set on my watch, and I'm starting it now. All right, that is time, and you did amazing. You guys were so quick.
They certainly are quick and they're very accurate. So this looked like, I think we got 100% on that one. So I'm going to roll through this fairly quickly. The answer here is D, 00851. Keywords are anesthesia code, tubal ligation. Okay, here's your code set. Again, we're looking for a tubal ligation. 00840 is anesthesia for intraperitoneal procedures in the lower abdomen, including laparoscopy, not otherwise specified. So the question here is, do we have a specific code? Do we all know intraperitoneal procedure means it happens within the peritoneal cavity? That means basically the peritoneum is basically underneath your ribs, your abdominal area. Okay. So we will check out this not otherwise specified by looking at the other codes that we have. 00884 is abdominal perineal resection, which of course does not match any of our keywords, so it's gone. Radical hysterectomy, again, it does not match our keywords, so it's gone. Look at here, 00851 says tubal ligation / transection. That means we do in fact have a specific code for it. We can eliminate 00840 and we can be sure that coders. We can be sure that 00851 is our correct answer. You all did a slam dunk on that, so I don't think there's any questions, but just to be sure, let me know in the chat if you got it. Or since I'm in the middle of a snowstorm, you could say snowballs. Okay, good. Moving on.
Okay, coders, we're going to start with the answers first. A is 1962. B is 1963. C is 969. D is 967. Report the appropriate anesthesia code for an obstetric patient who had a planned general anesthesia for cesarean hysterectomy. You have 2.5 minutes and you may begin now. Okay, coders, get your answers in. I'm seeing some B's and I'm seeing C's, but everybody has some good keywords in there, you guys.
Yeah, they're doing great on the keywords. Okay, it looks like the chat is slowed down. So we're going to start walking through this one. All right. The answer here is B, 01963. When you looked at these coders, were there any answers you could eliminate right off the bat? That's right, Hajay. But there are two of them. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I looked at the wrong place. You were right. Yes. I'll talk about that again in a minute, but we have an add-on code here which can never be first listed, so we could get rid of it. Okay? Our keywords here: anesthesia code, obstetric patient, planned, general anesthesia for cesarean hysterectomy. Okay, here are our codes. Okay, first, 01962. It says anesthesia for an urgent hysterectomy following delivery. Do we have either urgent or delivery mentioned or documented here? No, of course we don't. They are not in our keywords, and we know if our keywords do not match the code descriptors, we can eliminate it. So we're gone with A. All right, anesthesia for cesarean hysterectomy without any labor, analgesia or anesthesia care. That one looks pretty good, but let's check out our other possibilities. 01967, neuraxial labor analgesia anesthesia for a planned vaginal delivery, and again, we have no delivery documented here. So we're going to get rid of 01967. Finally, 01969, as you noted, is an add-on code. Add-on codes are just like that. You have to add them onto another thing. That means they can never be sequenced first or stand alone, and so we can get rid of C. So we know that our planned cesarean hysterectomy, there's nothing about labor, so B is our answer. If nobody else has any questions, though, I'm going to close this session down. Okay, thanks a lot, everybody. You were great. Let me know if there's something particular we should be covering. You guys want to talk? Thanks again to Miss Melissa and Miss Josie for all the help tonight. You guys were fabulous.
Good night, coders. You guys did amazing. I could tell that you had watched the lectures because you were on fire. So way to go. We'll see you on Friday.
Thank you, coders. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you guys. I saw a lot of great keywords. You guys are really doing your homework. You guys are doing a great job, and we'll get on that chun page and we'll get our books chunned, and that'll make a huge difference. So you guys have a good evening, and we'll see you Friday.
Good night, everybody. Thanks a lot.